Okay, here's another example. Let's do this. Alright, here it is. I'm trying to find it. It's 3. It's supposed to be a 3. It's kind of ugly. 2x minus 1 equals, now they put a 0.4, and then they go to the x plus 2 power. Now look at that crazy thing. Is there any way we're going to get the bases to be the same on this? 0.4 and 3, there's no way. So if you can't get the bases to be the same, what did we just learn? Do what to both sides? Take the log of both sides, okay? You can use the natural log or log, whatever your favorite one is. I'll just go with regular log. Is that all right? So watch what I do. I just do the log of both sides. So take the log of this equals the log of 0.4 to the x plus 2. All right. You with me so far? Just took the log of both sides. Now we got some rules with logarithms. Yeah, why in the world would you even go to logarithms? You go to it because you actually have more rules for logarithms than you do for exponents. There's more things you can do to get to solve for x. That's why we do the logarithm thing. And so we're going to take this. What do we call this rule? We say it all the time. Thank you. It's a power rule. So we take that, put it out in front. So let's see what we get. We get 2x minus 1. Since this is a sum, I really like to just keep that in parentheses. Is that all right? Since it's you know, a minus or a plus right there. So it's log 3 equals, now what are we going to do here? Take that exponent and throw that out in front. That's also a sum, isn't it? I'm going to put that in parentheses. I'm going to go log of 0.4. Now, this is a little trickier than the other one. The other one was a little easy. All we had to do was just divide and we were done. Now watch very carefully here. Log 3. This is log base 10 of 3. This is the same thing as just a regular number. I could come down here in my calculator, put in log 3, and get a nice little answer, and that would just be a number, wouldn't it? All right? I'm not going to put it in the calculator just yet. I'm going to do what? If this was like a regular 3, and you had a parentheses out here, what would you do with that if that was just a regular old 3? You distribute. Good. You would distribute it through here, okay? So watch carefully what I do. I'm going to distribute this through here. It gets a little ugly, but you just remember, if you remember that log 3 is just a number. It's just a regular number. It's a decimal number. It looks a little ugly, but it's just a number. You can do stuff with log 3 like you could do with any regular number. So I'm going to take this and multiply it through. So let's do the 2x. Put that in front. So it's going to be 2x times what? Log 3, good, minus what? Just 1 log 3, or just log 3, good. Everybody see that? All I did was take that and distribute it through. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take this, log 0.4, and I'm going to distribute it through as well. Remember, it's just a number, all right? It's just a regular old number I could put in a calculator, get a decimal if I wanted to. But I'm going to keep it in this form right now and not use a decimal to the end. So I'm going to chuck it through here. This is distributive property, so with the x first, and then you put log of 0.4 plus 2 log of 0.4. Just distributive property, that's all it is. It's back to algebra 1, right? That times this, everybody see that? That times that right there. Now, I know, it's way longer than what we've had, but we're going to eventually get x by itself. That's what we're trying to do. Now, do you remember back in Algebra 1 you had stuff like this? I'm just making this up. 2x plus, I don't know. You had stuff like this, right? You had x's on both sides. What do you do right now? What would your step be on this basic Algebra 1 problem? Subtract a 2x. Get the x on the same side. Exactly right, Billy. So what we want to do here, look, I have an x on this side, and then I have an x on this side. So what do I want to do? I want to get the x where? On the same side. So you can put it on the right or the left, doesn't matter. I think we prefer the left-hand side, don't you? That's what we usually do. So let's take this and put it over here. Let's go back to this Algebra 1 problem. How would you take this 2x and move it over here? Subtract it. So what are you going to do here? You're going to subtract this. Now back in Algebra 1, remember your teacher always made you show all that stuff? Look, I know it's going to go. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to say it's going to go. All right? So watch what I have here. And then what do we do to that 2 right here? Subtract it, put it on the other side. So what are we going to do with this? We're going to add log 3 and stick it on the other side. So let's do both of those steps in one shot. I'm subtracting x log of 0.4, and then I'm adding a log 3. Doing it all in one shot. Everybody with me okay? So it's 2x log 3. That's already over there. I just want it to stay there because it's already on the left side. I want to move this thing right here over to the left. And I do that by subtracting. So it's minus x log 0.4. So far, all the math has just been basic algebra, hasn't it? Now this is already over here, isn't it? 2 log of 0.4. And what do I want to do? I want to take this thing and chuck it over here. How do I do that? I add it, right, because it's being subtracted, so I add a log 3. Alright, so we got rid of that, didn't we? We put it on the right side. We got rid of this. We put it on the left side. And this is what we ended up with. Now, it gets a little bit different than this. Okay, this is probably the hardest step to remember for most people. I've got an x here and an x here. I only want one x, don't I? I don't want both x's. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have you sit there and think about it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor an x. It's the greatest common factor. We talked about that, didn't we, this year? We talked about greatest common factors. So look, I've got an x here, I've got an x here. Factor out the x. What am I left with? If I factor out an x from this or divide it by x, what am I left with? Look, if I get rid of this x, if I factor it out, put it out here, what do I have? 2 log 3. Okay, it's not just a 2, because that whole thing, I'm taking it out of that whole thing, so it's 2 log 3. Minus, now remember, I factored out an if I could speak right, I factored out an x from this thing right here. What am I left with? Log of 0.4. You see that? It's really the hardest part of the problem. And then I've got this, 2 log 0.4 plus log 3, because I didn't do anything to that side. Now look what I have. I have now just one x, don't I? That's what I wanted all along. So what is all this mess right here in parentheses? What is that doing to this x? What's that parentheses mean? Come on, talk to me. It's multiplying, right? It's being multiplied. How do I get rid of something that's being multiplied? I divide. So you could put a division and divide by all this stuff, but you know it's going to go away, don't you, when I divide? So really, I can just come over here just to simplify it a little bit and divide by all this mess right here. 2 log 3 minus log 0.4. Now, I'm going to put this in a different color just so it stands out. This right here, that's not your final. I mean, it kind of is your final answer, but what do you think you're going to do with all that junk right there? Stick it in a what? And a calculator. That's right. So you're going to put all this stuff in a calculator and come up with the answer. Sometimes that's the hardest part of doing this problem. Justin, you are watching, right? Okay, you're really not. You're looking at him. You haven't watched me in the last 10 minutes, okay? So I'm just... You're right. So let's put in this in a calculator. So let's bring the calculator up. I'll scooch it over just a little bit, keep it in our frame, and watch what we want to do. Now here's a key to this. Let me put this in here. The calculator will go away. But we're going to put all this stuff in the calculator and then hit divide. All right. So we're going to go 2 log 0.4 plus log 3. That's easy. It's straightforward. I think we can hit equals on this calculator. I'm so used to my just regular scientific calculator, but we're going to put equals and then divide, and then what you're going to do is this is a key right here on your calculator. Actually put a parentheses there, and then you're going to close the parentheses. Alright, so I'm writing in the parentheses because you need to put that in your calculator. So you go 2 log 0.4 plus log 3. You probably could, let's see, I'm not sure if they need parentheses around this thing right here. They may. Actually, I might just do this. I might put parentheses around this, right? Then you don't even have to hit equals. You hit divide, and then if you put this in parentheses, it should be good to go. So let's see if we can do this. All right. My mouse might be a little quicker with this. All right. Let's get rid of all this stuff right here. So let's start off with a parentheses, and we're going to go 2 log 0.4. Close that. To see how when you put a log, it automatically put a parentheses there. Now we're going to have parentheses coming out our ears, so you just got to be careful with them, okay? So what do I do with that? I just close that parentheses, right? Plus, what? Log 3. So you just hit log 3. It automatically puts a parentheses there. We close that one. Now, I need one more parentheses because of this first one right here. Okay, that would be this one here. Do you see that? So I'm going to put one more parentheses. So that's the whole top. That's everything that's on the top. Then I hit divide. And now I'm going to put another parentheses here. That's the key to this. Put a parentheses and then go do this. 2 log 3. 2 log 3. Close that one right there. Then what do we have? We got minus. See, I'm just following along what this says. Minus log of 0.4. It automatically sticks a parentheses there, so we close that one. But now, see this big thick red one right there? I need one more parentheses, don't I? So I put it right there. And then I'm ready to do what? Hit enter. And boom, that's our answer right there. All right, and we're going to round this to like 4 places. So Now when I click on this, it goes away. So remember, it's 2357, right? Negative 0.2357. And that's your answer. Look, I know it's a lot of steps, but take advantage of YouTube. It's on there. You can go through it. I went through every single step. All right, so take advantage of it if you're not sure what to do. That's a very common problem. You're going to definitely see this kind of problem. People ask me all the time, are you going to give that on a quiz or a test? Absolutely. I'm going to give you something like this on a test or quiz, okay, without a doubt. You need to know how to do that, okay? All right, I think that'll be enough for today. We might finish a little, we'll finish this up tomorrow, okay?